All right, Taoism. First, let's start off with its mythology. In the past, there was believed to be a man named Lao Tzu. He taught the masses and enlightened them about the way of the world. One day, he decided he would ascend to the mountains away from humanity, but the people begged him to stay and keep enlightening them. So he created a book called the Tao Te Ching, which is the Bible for Taoism, and left. 600 years later, he came back to make Taoism go from a philosophy to a true religion. That's the myth of Taoism. The truth is, there was never a man named Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu literally just means old master or old sage. In actuality, it was a bunch of old philosophers during the Warring States period whose philosophies were combined into a book called the Tao Te Ching, creating the ideology of Taoism. 6 centuries later, as the ideology was being picked up by the people across China, they wanted to become a true religion. So they brought back its founder, Lao Tzu, to make it go from an ideology to a religion. Now, what is Taoism or Taoism about? It's about they don't worship a god or anything. They instead follow the Tao. What is the Tao? The Tao is the way or the path. It's a concept that our human brains are too small to comprehend, and we shouldn't bother trying. Because anyone who says they understand the Tao doesn't truly understand the Tao. So, another key concept of Taoism is yin and yang. Yin would be like cold, yang hot. Yin, feminine energy, yang, masculine energy. Yin, sour, yang, sweet. The thing is, either of these energies can't exist without the other, because you can't have hot without thinking of cold, and you can't have sweet without thinking of sour. Yin and yang also come together in balance. For example, the Sour Patch. The yin of the sour bits on the side and the yang and the sweet on the inside combine, creating balance to create a stronger and better flavor. Another concept is Wu Wei, or actionless inaction. The best way to explain this is with a story. There was once a farmer. The farmer had his horse who galloped over the fence and went away. His neighbor came to him and said, "That's terrible news." The farmer said, "We'll see." The next day, the horse came back with a family of horses. The neighbor said, "That's great news." The farmer said, "We'll see." The day after that, the farmer's son broke his leg trying to ride the new horses. The neighbor said, "Oh, that's terrible news." The farmer said, "We'll see." The day after that, the army came to recruit new soldiers, but the farmer's son's leg was broken. The neighbor said, "That's good news." The farmer said, "We'll see." Years later, they lost the war because they needed one more man. The neighbor said, "That's terrible news." The farmer again said, "We'll see." Then after that, the new regime was even better than the old regime. The neighbor said, "You know, that's great news." The farmer said, "We'll see." This is the Taoist belief of actionless inaction and going with the flow. Another way to understand this is we're in the river of the Tao, and you have the choice of going with the flow or fighting the river. A final concept I'd like to go over is pu, or untapped wood. This piece of wood can become anything. Right now, I'm just using it as a paperweight, but who knows what it could be? It could be a weapon, it could be a toy, it could be a piece of paper. Its potential is limitless until it's used. Now, what is my definition of a religion? My definition of a religion is something being worshipped. Taoism doesn't have a thing that it's worshiping, but a path it's following and a belief it's following, which is go with the way, actionless in action, and living in balance. So personally, I don't think Taoism is a religion, but instead an ideology. To recap what we've talked about today, Taoism was a bunch of beliefs founded by people in the Warring States period that later became a religion 6 centuries later. Its core beliefs is following the way or the path of the universe, living in balance with yin and yang, going with the flow, and personally, I don't think it's a religion.